If you walk into any commercial gym, you will likely spot someone mixing a chalky white powder into a shaker bottle. For decades, creatine has carried a gritty reputation, often viewed as a specialized supplement, reserved for bodybuilders and teenage athletes trying to pack on mass. Along with that reputation comes a persistent set of rumors. Common whispered fears suggest it causes severe dehydration and muscle cramps, mimics the effects of anabolic steroids, or eventually destroys your kidneys. But those locker room rumors clash directly with the medical consensus. The International Society of Sports Nutrition classifies creatine as one of the safest and most effective dietary supplements ever studied. This creates a jarring paradox. If hundreds of clinical trials have confirmed its safety across diverse populations, why do the warning labels persist? And what is this powder actually doing once it enters your bloodstream? Uncovering the specific cellular mechanics of this molecule redefines our understanding of human energy and changes the map of who actually needs it most. To see how this works, we have to step away from the weight room and look at the microscopic engines powering your cells. This animated diagram breaks down your body's primary energy currency, a molecule called ATP. Whenever a cell needs energy for a high-intensity task, it breaks off a phosphate group, releasing a burst of power. But that leaves behind a depleted molecule called ADP, which cannot produce energy on its own. This is where creatine steps in. It acts as a rapid recharge system. As you can see, a molecule of phosphocreatine rushes in and donates its own phosphate group to that depleted ADP, instantly restoring it to a fully functional ATP molecule. In skeletal muscle, this rapid recharging allows athletes to push harder for longer. Clinical data shows this translates to a 10 to 20% increase in high-intensity performance, leading to measurable gains in lean muscle mass. As this distribution map shows, 95% of our creatine is locked in skeletal muscle, while the brain maintains a dedicated 5% reserve. This high-stakes energy buffer helps preserve memory and cognitive focus during periods of extreme metabolic stress, such as sleep deprivation. Because it supports these basic cellular functions, the ideal user isn't limited to a specific age group. Despite cautious warning labels, which exist primarily for legal liability, pediatric researchers use it safely in adolescents. For older adults, it serves as a powerful tool for fighting age-related muscle loss and cognitive decline. Creatine serves as a core biological resource for energy optimization at any stage of life. Even with that extensive safety record, one major fear continues to circulate: the idea that regular creatine use leads to irreversible kidney damage. This myth stems from a medical misunderstanding known as the creatine-creatinine conundrum. When your muscles use creatine for energy, they produce a completely harmless waste byproduct called creatinine. This chart illustrates how doctors typically monitor kidney health. They measure the creatinine levels in your blood. If that red line spikes into the danger zone, a doctor will assume your kidneys are failing to filter out waste properly. But supplementing with creatine artificially raises the amount of creatinine in your blood, simply because you have more of it processing through your system. As you can see, this triggers a false positive on standard tests, even while secondary diagnostics confirm your kidney filtration is operating perfectly. Clinical data actually shows that creatine improves thermoregulation, effectively countering the persistent dehydration and cramping myths. This happens because of how the molecule interacts with liquid. As we see in this microscopic view, creatine pulls water molecules directly through the cellular membrane, deeply hydrating the cell from the inside out and plumping the surrounding tissue. Evidence does consistently support one side effect: mild stomach cramping. However, this is strictly dose-dependent, typically only occurring when someone swallows a massive amount of the powder at once, rather than spacing it out. The clinical record reframes these long-standing safety concerns as harmless metabolic misunderstandings. If you decide to add this to your routine, you will immediately run into a fierce debate over timing, whether to take it before a workout for energy or immediately after to maximize recovery. Creatine relies on cellular saturation over time, lacking the immediate central nervous system effects of a stimulant like caffeine. This diagram of a storage tank illustrates how it actually works. The benefits only appear as your cells slowly saturate with the molecule over a period of several weeks. Once that cellular tank hits 100% capacity, it stays full. A slow, steady drip maintains the level perfectly, completely independent of whatever the clock in the background says. Consistency is the primary factor. Taking a standard 3 to 5 grams daily is far more important than the exact time you take it. You should also ignore the expensive, heavily marketed variants, like creatine HCl or Cre-alkalin, which promise better absorption or fewer side effects. The scientific literature has already crowned a winner. Basic, inexpensive creatine monohydrate is the exact form used in nearly all the efficacy trials, and it is the only version you actually need. This molecule functions as a versatile, multi-organ maintenance cool, supporting a 16-year-old athlete's recovery, a 30-year-old parent's focus, or a 70-year-old's physical independence.